Points list, points list. New Genesis update has occurred. However, here's the little strange thing about this. Genesis point list for June 1st has been updated in the OCG. Strange, isn't it? So there's a new OCG point list update, and they've done all of these changes, which, you know, I'm not going to go through these because I don't really know what the current format is in Genesis. I don't really care. I don't play Genesis, not a Genesis creator or enjoyer. Irrespective of what any of this means, whether it's a good format or a bad format, or if Genesis is a good game or not a good game, I don't care. That's not the point here. The point here, that's very bizarre, is that all of these changes you're seeing here are not in the TCG Genesis region. This seems to be only listed for the main OCG format and available only via Neuron as the time of this writing. So what's going on is a good question. We'll keep folks updated as more information becomes available. So this is a very, very bizarre... Did they post this on Macedo Meta? I don't think they have. No, they haven't. So this is a very obscure and, I guess, just strange situation. They have updated the points list for Genesis for OCG region only. This is not the current TCG points list updates. If we can go to the Genesis, where do they normally put this? This is it the database, I think? Yu-Gi-Oh card, what is Genesis? Here's the current updated points list, I assume, on yugioh-card.com. You can see here, like, for example, Torrential Tribute is just not in Genesis point list, but over here in the OCG thing, they've updated to 5 points, for example. Just random other cards here. We've got, you know, Big Eye, Control F, no Big Eye on the list here. Angeli, let's try and find something that's, like, you know, the same, I suppose. Here we got Shifter, 10 to 15, so you can see Shifter, which, you know, insane, by the way, that Genesis is has Shifter this low of a point cost. But anyway, so in the TCG official yugioh-card.com EN Genesis website, it says here Dimension Shifter is at 10 points, whereas over on the OCG's Neuron update this morning is it's gone up to 15. I mean, that's good, you know, not going to complain about that, but the technical details aside, is there is a difference. There's a difference. There is a, like, why is it its own format now? So Genesis originally started at what appeared to be this, like, NA experiment for Yu-Gi-Oh! It seemed to have popped off and done really well, even in the OCG, because I think they had some people running, like, unofficial events and stuff using the points list. And then on top of that, they've officialized Genesis in the OCG, and then now they've gone further than that and have officialized OCG with its own points list. That's strange. So I don't know what's going on here. Basically, what's occurred is there's just going to be a different OCG and TCG Genesis format. Now, I believe that the way OCG Genesis works is it was exactly the same as the TCG. Despite the fact that Japan is, what, almost a year ahead of us in terms of the card pool for Genesis? 6 months, I guess. They were still adhering to the TCG card pool. So even though they have, like, Chaos Origin, I think is the most recent set in the OCG, that's just, like, not legal for Genesis in the OCG. Now, however, I don't think they're changing that, to be fair, but it is obscure because now that all of these, like, cards have been changed for the OCG region. So what happens now? Well, I don't know. It's currently 2 p.m., 3 p.m. EU, which is, I think, like 6 a.m. PST, Pacific time? 7 a.m. PST? So other than that, I don't know if that's going to mean anything for us over in the TCG region. I think it's a bad idea, just conceptually, you know, we're not talking about the specifics here. We're not talking about, like, the details of whether the format is good or bad or not, or if these points, like, mean anything. Like, that's out with the question here. Just from a conceptual perspective, I think further splitting the metagame between OCG and TCG is a negative thing. We always complain about OCG having a faster card release cycle than us, or like we're on the delay. Having different formats for Macedo, OCG, and TCG, at least in my opinion, and from all the people that I talk to and in my community, they don't like that. It would be nice if it was all unified. And now they're even further than that. They're splitting up points lists for what has essentially become like its own niche format. So Genesis, not quite rivaling advanced format in terms of the main way to play Yu-Gi-Oh, And so they're further splitting that between the regions. I think this is just a bad decision. This is a bad choice. And I hope that this is ideally just an early update that they haven't officially announced yet, because the TCG region hasn't woke up to upload the ban list, I guess. That's the only logic I can think of at this point in time as of, recording. Maybe when NA wakes up in like 3 or 4 hours, the intern is going to hit the upload button on the official TCG website here and put up the new points list. And then all of this is going to be irrelevant. But if they are going into a direction of splitting the OCG and TCG Genesis card pool, I just think conceptually that's just a bad idea. Again, the quality of the changes and the hits here is irrelevant. I just think as a general, like, thing where they want to split off the regions, I just don't think that makes sense. Now, in terms of what that means in the future for maybe Master Duel, my thing with Genesis and Master Duel is basically not a if question, but a when question. I don't think Genesis is maybe coming to Master Duel. I think it is coming to Master Duel. The question is not if it's coming to Master Duel, it's when it's coming to Master Duel. So, by OCG having their own points list, maybe it's some way for them to incorporate Master Duel into the OCG points list because they just want to have control over it via Japan as the main source of balance and stuff compared to TCG. That's pretty much all I can really think of. And I think there's, very sound logic and reasoning to that. I don't know why they're taking away the balancing logic from the TCG, but I feel like, just another split here would be really bad. Now, what would be even worse than that is if there's a Master Duel pointless split. So then we would have a Genesis format for Master Duel, a Genesis format for OCG, and a Genesis format for TCG. I really fucking hope they don't do that. But considering that Master Duel is on a delay to the card cycle of OCG by a year, and then on the delay of a card cycle to the TCG by 6 months, they kind of have to, right? It just wouldn't make sense to have the same points list in a Genesis Master Duel format as the TCG format, as the OCG format, which are just on further release schedules of the card pool. Right? Because having different card pools means you can't really balance. I mean, they did this exact split and change and fix, quote unquote, in 2013 when they split the ban lists. Because previously, up until 2014, you would have the exact same ban list for OCG and TCG, but it was also very weird because the OCG and TCG had different card pools. So they made the decision in 2013 to split the ban lists and make one for each region. So it would be very counterintuitive to go back to that if they were to make a Master Duel. Anyway, this is all purely hypothetical, but I do think Master Duel will come to Genesis. So I do think Genesis will come to Master Duel. I just think this is an odd choice. So what is going to happen here? I don't know. Does this mean we're getting 2 different Genesis regional things? I mean, I guess we'll have to maybe wait 24 more hours and see what's going to happen, right? Like, it could just be a case of, like, as of right now, 7 a.m. Pacific time in America, they just haven't logged into the office and pressed upload on this updated list, and maybe this is the new Genesis point list. Or they are actually just splitting the ban list. So who knows? Anyway, that's the Genesis rundown and the drama, quote unquote. I think it's a very bad choice overall. But what do you think? Is it a good thing? Is it not a good thing? I don't know.